I'll tell you, I'm feeling a win myself now after hearing these guys speak. But I also feel something bigger too. I'm sitting on the porch down my birthday weekend in March with Carol, and my phone rings, and who calls me down there? Nobody but Ed. He says, "What are you doing?" I says, "I'm down here in Cape May." He says, I think I'm going to go to Sandy Hook and think about this campaign. Well, now I'm reading, he's going to beat Lance. He's going to beat Lance, and he's going to be our next congressman in this district. So with great pleasure, I want to bring up the next congressman in this district, Ed Potosnak. Ed, come on up here. I'll never forget that phone call, Hal. Come on, tell us what you're going to do.
Glued to my ear, that phone. Ed Potosnak, running to be your representative in Washington for the U.S. House of Representatives. I'm a science teacher. As many of you know, I'm also a small business owner. And I'm going to work to represent you and make sure that your priorities are my priorities and not for a political job. I was born and raised right here in New Jersey. You can see from my pin here, I'm a double graduate from Rutgers University. Undergraduate, that's right. I'm in a little bit of a war, whether to wear the flag or the Rutgers pin, and we're in football season, so I'm going to swap it out or maybe put both on. I became a science teacher right here in Bridgewater, so it's great to be home. And I also grew up working in a small business before I started my own doing home improvements, working alongside my parents, manufacturing batteries for police and fire. And I saw how difficult it was to make ends meet, how you had to make sacrifices, and how when you work hard, there are rewards. I know what it's like to struggle, to overcome those struggles, and to come out on the other side a better person. My opponent, as many of you know, Congressman Lance, he's a third-generation politician. He's never held a real job. He doesn't understand what it's like to struggle, and certainly in this economy, doesn't understand what our families are facing, the difficulty of unemployment, of making payroll, of making sure that our students are prepared to be the leaders and entrepreneurs of tomorrow, that our workforce is prepared for the companies that live and call the 7th District home. Quite frankly, I don't think he has what it takes to ensure America gets its edge back. There are many instances I could point to in which he sided with the special interests that fund his campaigns. Nearly 60% of his funding comes from those special interests. That's big banks, Wall Street, and the insurance industry. And just today I did a press conference in front of a foreclosed home in Scotch Plains. As a backdrop of that foreclosed home, as a symbol of what happened 2 years ago on today when Lehman Brothers collapsed and started us down this catastrophe, financial crisis that left 8 million people without homes. And since being in Congress, the one committee he serves on, which is Financial Services, where he gets over $400,000 of his campaign contributions, he has done nothing to regulate that industry, to ensure that our consumers, all of us, when we make investments, that our retirements, that our saving plans for our kids when they want to go to college, that they're protected. He voted against that financial reform bill, and with a litany of excuses. Just like all the other bills, putting 4,000 teachers back in the classroom, calling their jobs or the impact they would have negligible. That's also firefighters and police and nurses. The bill was paid for, it paid down our debt, and he said no. And when pressured, in addition to saying that there was a negligible impact, and I invite you to go to my website and look at teachers and firefighters and police officers in this district that have called out Congressman Lance and said, my job's not negligible, my students' education's not negligible, our future is not negligible, and submit your own video. But in addition to saying that they were negligible, he said, well, that's what the party did. They took a vote, and they were going to vote against it, so I went with the party line. And, you know, as someone who ran as a moderate, Congressman Lance has been a disappointment. He's changed quite a bit since going to Washington. I think what we need in Washington, what we need to do is to break free from the divisive politics that have stood in the way of getting the job done and getting our economy back. And we do that by electing people with real-world experience who are willing to stand up for our needs, the needs of our families and businesses. And so I stand before you today to ask for your help, to congratulate Chairman Schaefer on developing an excellent slate of candidates, but also on her energy, on keeping Somerset County going that the change that we need is right here with the candidates that stand before us. And it takes many to move a mountain, and we stand before you together and united on that front. But we need your help. We need your financial support, which a lot of you have stepped up today. We need your time and commitment on the phones and on the doors. We need to have opportunities to meet your neighbors in your homes, for you to act as a surrogate. And ultimately, we need everything that you could possibly think of on a long list in order to win in November, because we can't do it alone. No one person can win. The best strategist in the world can tell you, who to target, but if there's no one to go there and reach out, this November, we're going to be left in the same position we are, with a representative in Washington that is fighting for the special interests that fund his campaigns, and a list of county candidates and here in the town that have lost sight of what we need to get the country going in the right direction, that have put their needs ahead of our needs. And so it's a great pleasure to be here before you, but more importantly, we have work to do, and we need to get out there and make sure we get it done for all of us. And thank you for this opportunity.